I don't think it's important to defend against critics. Again, I go back to Jesus. If Jesus started to defend against every accusation while he was on his way to the cross, he will still be there today.
So we've been talking about Cheyenne Bryant for a couple years, and if you know the history of this channel, it's been a very long time. The interesting thing is that she keeps keeping herself in the news cycle by making radical statements. This time, something I predicted that her next move would be to move into the ministry. The move is almost complete. Now she's in red carpet interviews comparing herself to Jesus walking to the cross. I need you to sit with that for a second.
Do you understand the backlash, or you're just like, that just doesn't matter? Like, that's what I'm asking. Like, do you feel like this, you need to show documents, is important, or is it not?
I think it's important to people I'm working with. I think it's important to my clients. I don't think it's important to defend against critics. Again, I go back to Jesus. If Jesus started to defend against every accusation while he was on his way to the cross, he will still be there today. That means that we would still be in sin. We still wouldn't have forgiveness. Instead, he walked his walk and did his journey and ran the play, and we're here today. So again, when I say the outside chatter is there for a reason, let me tell you something what I've learned. There's two type of wins, right? There's easy wins, and then there's wins you got to work for. When God gives you, let's just say, gives you 100 easy wins, 101, he says, all right, baby, I've been giving it to you, but I want to give you one to see if you can work for it. I want to see if you got skin in the game. I want to see how much you're invested in what I've been blessing you and giving you. And when those type of wins come, because they all wins, you're supposed to show God by how gratitude you are, by saying, you know what, I got skin in the game. I ain't got no problem with working for it.
How gratitude you are, y'all. You got to show them by how gratitude you are. If Jesus had stopped to defend himself against every accusation on the way to the cross, he would still be there today, and humanity would still be waiting. So her position is, I'm not going to waste energy defending myself against critics. I'm just going to keep on moving and do the work. On the surface, that almost sounds noble. Choosing faith over reaction, trusting the path. I get the appeal of that framing. But let's actually talk about who we're talking about here, Cheyenne Bryant. We can't handle this as an isolated incident outside of the history that we now have with Cheyenne Bryant. For that comparison that she used to work, you have to accept that she is in the same position Jesus was. Someone that was sinless, that means including lying about credentials, that was being dragged down by false accusations of people who simply couldn't handle the truth. And that's where the whole thing falls apart. Jesus was facing trumped up charges. Cheyenne Bryant is facing documented specific questions about whether her professional credentials are real. Those are not the same situations, not even close. And the fact that you're even saying this is very offensive. I know you're not supposed to make those type of comparisons. But what she's done is take a legitimate accountability question and frame it as a spiritual persecution. And that move right there is the mechanic you want to notice, because once you cast yourself as a martyr, any criticism becomes proof of the enemy working against you. Every question becomes an attack. Every person asking for receipts becomes a doubter who just doesn't understand your calling. Accountability can't get in because the framing of this will not let it. And so she didn't stop at the Jesus comparison. She also floated this idea about wins.
So what I've learned, there's two type of wins, right? There's easy wins, and then there's wins you got to work for. When God gives you, let's just say, gives you 100 easy wins, 101, he says, all right, baby, I've been giving it to you, but I want to give you one to see if you can work for it. I want to see if you got skin in the game. I want to see how much you're invested in what I've been blessing you and giving you. And when those type of wins come, because they all wins, you're supposed to show God by how gratitude you are, by saying, you know what, I got skin in the game. I ain't got no problem with working for it.
100 easy wins followed by the 101st, which is hard by design because God wants to see how committed you really are. So her controversy isn't a consequence of anything she did or didn't do. It's a test, a divinely orchestrated challenge to see if she'll stay the course. Who does this woman think she is? Which, again, it sounds inspiring until you realize what it actually does. It removes her from any responsibility of what has happened in the past few months, for how this situation got started in the first place. Now, I want to be fair here. I'm not questioning her faith. People navigate hard seasons with their faith all the time, and that's a real thing. But there's a difference between privately leaning on your faith to get through something and publicly invoking Jesus on a red carpet to explain why you won't show your degrees. One is spiritual. The other is a PR strategy. Notice she got rid of the Dr. Bryant chain, or what was the other one? The Doc chain. She got rid of those chains. I wonder why. Because that's who she really serves. She serves trademark Dr. Bryant. And the thing is, the credential questions don't go away because of this. They go away if she shows the receipts. That's it. Very simple. That's the whole game. We wouldn't even be talking about this right now. But every time she responds like this with a theological framework instead of her transcripts or a certificate or a license, she adds another layer to the story that should have been simple to close. Respond once, show your documentation, move on. Instead, we're now talking about whether she thinks she's Jesus. This is a crash out happening in slow motion right now. And the most hilarious thing is the people that have decided to still defend her after all the evidence is stacked up against her.
Why are you all so obsessed about Cheyenne Bryant? I'm beginning to think that this is a bot thing. Why are you so obsessed about this? Like, okay, she lied. I could see if she lied and like harmed people, but she was on my podcast and she was brilliant. I think it's fucked up that she lied. You know, and then that's that. The need to, if y'all went this hard against like Kamala Harris for supporting a genocide, then like what would that would matter to me. There's no match. I don't need to have some type of debate with Cheyenne Bryant. At the end of the day, for some reason, she felt like she needed to lie about credentials. I don't know why. I think part of the reason is because we live in a world where we act like credentials is what determines somebody's effectiveness across the board. And in some respects, it is absolutely necessary. And in her respect, it actually wasn't necessary for her to do the work that she does. That being said, I just don't care. I don't care. She was on my podcast and she was incredible. I don't care. I think it sucks, and I think it was not smart, and I think that at the end of the day, there are people who work really hard to get doctorates. There are also people who call themselves doctor when they get an honorary doctorate, and I don't think that's much different. I don't think it's much different. Maya Angelou was walking around calling herself Dr. Maya Angelou. She didn't complete a doctorate. Some university gave her a doctorate. Which university was it? Was it Spelman? I think it was Spelman. We live in a world where we act like credentials is what determines somebody's effectiveness across the board. And in some respects, it is absolutely necessary. And in her respect, it actually wasn't necessary for her to do the work that she does. That being said, I just don't care. I don't care. She was on my podcast and she was incredible. I don't care. I think it sucks, and I think it was not smart, and I think that at the end of the day, there are people who work really hard to get doctorates. There are also people who call themselves doctor when they get an honorary doctorate, and I don't think that's much different.
Something about many people wondering or worried about a degree, and that's trending. But what is not trending is what this administration is doing by taking degrees from so many of us. So as I think about this, I'm just like, we've got to do something and come together.
I have no idea what their ulterior motives are at this point, and I wonder if they can continue to support her after she's made these statements. For most reasonable people, she's lost all trust. Anybody that was following her before is now questioning whether or not they should trust her. It cost her trust from the people who were still on the fence. The ones that were willing to give her the benefit of the doubt because maybe she was attractive, maybe they liked her personality, maybe they thought she was sticking it to the man, all the man haters out there that really followed behind her. But now they're all, of course, trying to act like they were on our side in not believing who she was. But when you respond to a straightforward question with this level of deflection, it signals that the question hit somewhere real. People who have nothing to hide don't reach for martyrdom on a red carpet. They just answer the question. Invoking Jesus doesn't make the credential questions disappear. It just tells everyone watching exactly how you respond when the pressure gets specific. And that's genuinely more revealing than any document would be. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Is this a real faith response, or is this the most elaborate deflection you've ever seen? I want to hear what you thought. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification for all uploads. If you want to watch more, please watch one of these videos down below. Make sure you sign up for the Faucette Media Patreon. The link is in the description, as well as hype this video. Hyping this video helps push it in the algorithm. Go down to the comments, swipe to the left, hit the hype button for Faucette Media. This is Faucette Media. Cheyenne is a piece of work.